Hey guys, this is Tauna, and today we are going to talk about a present that I made for one of my friends. I've made a Christmas present for one of my friends that I've just given him last week, and it was insane to play against to start with, and insanely fun for him. It was fun for us as well, because it was just like, what is going on here? But either way, it was just an insanely fun deck that I wanted to kind of share with you guys and kind of put it out in the world because I thought it was very interesting and very fun. So this is based around John Arenicus Shattered One. At the beginning of your end step, you get to give a creature that you control over to the target opponent. You get to put 2+1/+1 counters on it and then goad it as well for the rest of the game, as well as give it the fact that it can't be sacrificed. And then you also get to draw a card whenever a creature you control that a creature you own that you don't control attacks. So, you know, there's lots of really interesting stuff here where you're going to be handing out presents, as I called it, because it's a Christmas themed deck. I even put a little Santa hat on him because I thought it was just really funny. But you're going to be handing out presents to people. So this is an insanely budget deck, mind you. You know, this is like, because of the fact that the creatures that it runs are just really bad because they do bad things. It's insanely budget. So let's start off with something like the Evil Eye of Orms by Gore. This is going to make it so non-eye creatures you control can't attack, and they can't be blocked by walls as well. So you're handing this over to someone, and then all of a sudden they're not going to be able to attack anymore, except for with their evil eye that you've just handed them. We've got a Flash Reaver here. Whenever it deals damage to a creature or opponent, it's going to deal damage to you. And of course, because it's goaded, you have to attack with it each turn. We've got Gut-Wrencher Oni here. At the beginning of your upkeep, you need to discard a card if you don't control an ogre. Who the frick's going to be owning ogres? So you're just handing out something for free. Ornithopter I put in there just because I thought it was funny. We've got Wretched and Urid here. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you lose a life. Demonic Taskmaster, making it so you sacrifice a creature each time you take a turn. Graph Reaver here. This one's really interesting because you can exploit a creature when it comes out and then destroy a target Planeswalker, and then you can hand it over to someone else. So it has a benefit when it comes in for you, but then you also get to hand it to somebody else over there. We've got Hostage Taker, so you can steal back other people's things, or steal back, you know, their commander or whatever they've got over there. Pitiless Horde, making it so that they lose life. We've got Serendib Efret. At the beginning of your upkeep, it deals 1 damage to you. So there's a lot of stuff in here that's going to deal damage to you. It's going to make you sacrifice your creatures. It's going to make you... This one here is freaking hilarious because it's going to make you exile the top card of your library face down each time you draw. And then you've got to pay black to return those back to your hand. But if someone doesn't have black mana, they're not going to be able to do it. You know, we've got like Thieving Skydiver to be able to steal stuff from someone else. Overcharge Amalgam here to counter something. So we've got a few different kind of counters in here, as well as, you know, the creatures in here that make it so that you have to do things like, you know, just sacrifice your stuff. And then, you know, I've also put Jisser in here. Why not? Just bring everything back and then go hand it over to people. As for like the sorceries in here, we've got like, you know, a whole bunch of kind of controlly ones, returning stuff. We've got counters. We've got exiling stuff. Persist to bring something back in case it dies. Arenicus's vile duplication here, so we can just make a copy of John Arenicus, which I just realized that this card is John Arenicus, which my brain didn't put them together, okay, because, you know, I was calling him Santa for quite a while. As for the instance, we've got stuff to allow us to draw and to be able to counter. A lot of stuff to allow us to counter. Run away together, I thought it was freaking hilarious, just for the art of it, making it so that people's creatures go back to their hand. And, you know, stuff to be able to allow you to, if you've played out a whole bunch of creatures and then someone dies because they come back to you, ways to be able to put them back into your hand as well, so that way they're not out there, they're not destroying things or anything. As I said, this is a very cheap deck as well. So I didn't want to go, you know, it's too heavy into like the super expensive stuff, like, you know, an Aether, like a Cyclonic Rift or something like that. I wanted it to be purely like, you know, pretty cheap. So you could obviously upgrade it with stuff like that, but yeah, we've got Bloodthirsty Blade here, which is another way for us to be able to hand stuff out to people as well. As for the enchantments, the Trickster scored high, switching creatures around, which is fun. Dissipation field here to make it so that whenever a permanent deals damage to you, you get to return it to the owner's hand. So, you know, if someone manages to bypass your goad, then all of a sudden all those cards are going to be coming back to your hand. We've got Heartless Summoning here, making it so that creatures cost less and they get -1/-1. But it doesn't matter if they've got -1/-1, because our idea is to give them away. So they're not going to have -1/-1 once we give them to other people either. So this is basically a deck that works around summoning really bad creatures. And when I say really bad, I mean really, really, really bad. And then going and handing them out. It is Krampus is what we called it. I like to think of it more as Santa. If Santa didn't actually read what you wanted, he just read you wanted creatures for Christmas, and then he's like, here, have this. But it wasn't that creature that you wanted. It wasn't the creature, you know, it was the creature that ate all your other creatures, or, you know, just some really, really interesting stuff. The great part about it, again, is because of the fact that the creatures are less than ideal, they've got big downsides and stuff, people generally don't really want them, so you can pick them up pretty cheap. And even though some of these are pretty old, they're still around because of the fact that, you know, as I said, people didn't really want them. They're kind of, you know, like one of the newest ones here is Vizsla. Vizsla is really, really cool, making it so that you get to do some cool stuff, give this over to someone else, make it goaded. There's lots of really cool stuff in it. I just really like the deck. Playing against it was really fun. It is a super duper meme deck, and if someone has a removal for John Irenicus, then you're not going to be able to hand out your presents, but then that would be rude. Who is going to kill Santa? Anyway, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. I hope you guys had a wonderful day, and goodbye.